Hello and welcome back to Ask Master with me, your talk host show, Arya Nuru. Today we're welcoming on Master Shri Akarshana.
Namaste.
And we are continuing from the last episode.
It was a big question. I forgot what the big question was now.
Well, before we get started,
Yeah.
are you proud of my hands? This all black
Oh, yes.
and pink.
Oh, nice.
If you were on our last episode, we
Power.
talked about colors. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you watch it so you understand what we're talking about. And
Yeah.
can I just say, we're matching again. This is not planned.
Synchronicity.
Okay, so moving on to our big question from last time. I think a lot of people are very excited that I asked that question and they've been waiting for you
What
to
was
answer
it?
it.
So much suspense. I forgot what it was.
Okay, so we were asking that when you go and receive information or talk to the energies, how does it happen? Is it through meditation? Is it through dimension traveling? Is it in your dreams?
Oh, this is a very big question. So,
Can you simplify
okay,
it
so
for
is
us?
it through meditation? Yes, it can be.
Okay.
Is it through dimension? Yes, it can be.
Okay.
And what was the last thing? Is it through dreams? Yes, it can be.
Okay, so
Does that answer your question?
so yes for all three.
Is that complete?
So do you do all three together, or are there like different? Is it like a Skype? What are there like different ones like Skype, WhatsApp, Facebook, or is it just one thing?
Different purpose, different thing. So, using words to explain the divine and their energies, and explain meditation. If you ask even one question, what is meditation? That already is like you get a million
We have that
interpretations.
question coming up actually.
Million interpretations, and a lot of it is true because who made up the word meditation anyway, and what does meditation even mean? So, I think that's a little bit confusing. Can we play a bit of game, a little game, because this like kind of will give an insight to how actually using text, using words, can't explain energy. Shall we play a
Yeah.
game?
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
I say a word, and then you give me the first 10 words that come to mind.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
instantly,
Okay.
without thought. Okay, 10 words that come to mind without thinking.
Okay.
You need to be fast.
No
okay?
pressure.
Just
Okay.
link it.
Let's
you ready?
do this. Ready.
Okay, sex.
Ooh, love, peace, attraction, affirmation, green, bed, house, sexy, abs, boobs, feet.
Actually, yours was very
That was weird.
like your sex is very interesting.
Okay, that
It's
was-
very peaceful and very calm. So if we even put that word out to the public, right? I think everybody has so many like all different words.
yeah.
That's from one word. So that's why when we talk about love, some people relationship they say, "Oh, you can't say I love you already." Love is very important word. It's a big word. You can't say it like
Yeah.
that. And some people they just throw it out like there's
Yeah.
no tomorrow. So what is right? What's wrong? I think everything is misinterpreted like that, and it's not just misinterpretation. It's so many interpretations.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good example would be language as well, because I speak Hindi and Urdu, and I understand Arabic a little bit as well. So when you're trying to maybe like convert it to a different language like English, it's so hard to explain, and some of the explanations are so funny or weird or cringy, but when you speak it in the other language,
It
it's
makes
so
sense.
poetic and it's so sweet, and it's so hard to explain, saying that Urdu is such a sweet language, or in Hindi you say it like this, but then in English it's like what on like why would you say something like that? So just explaining that, yeah.
So I think that okay. I think a better question is probably to say, if we sum it up, to say, how do you connect with the universe? How do you speak to the universe? Huh.
What application do you
What
use?
application? So there's loads of applications, just like you said.
Okay, can we download them?
Yes, yes, you can download them, but not everybody has the privileges because the container is not ready.
Okay.
So, for example, you might use iOS or you might use Android, and
Okay.
it hasn't got the right container. It needs the
Okay.
right container for the application to be downloaded.
Okay.
That's why we work on yoga on our weekly practice.
So is working on the physical, working on the container is
It will help.
yeah.
Yeah. but sometimes there's also glitches in the system,
Okay.
meaning that you will get a random person who can just speak to the universe. Like they just born that way where energies are flowing for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that. It's just as simple as saying some people can put connect their two arms behind their back. Some people can't, even without training, right? Some people can. Some people will have a different body, different container. So, yeah. So, if in short, silence the mind would be a good start. With breath work, we silence the mind. Our brains is going like crazy.
Okay, so just to make sure to say here that everybody can connect and talk to the universe.
Everybody can if
So you're
they
giving
work.
like you're giving here methodology like silence and all that. So is that for everyone?
Silencing the mind is for everyone. It will have different benefits for everyone. There's so many different things that need to be aligned that to say that everyone can do it, right? The answer is if everyone was aligned that way, everyone can do it.
Okay.
But also fact, and this is fact, as much as people will hate on this, what I'm saying here, but it's fact, is that everyone will not be able to align everything in that way.
Okay, so is it everyone can do it and they won't, or certain people just simply can't do it?
Everyone, okay, like everyone can lose weight if they follow certain protocols.
Yeah.
Right? Does that mean if we spread the message of losing weight, then the whole world will lose weight? No.
No. Okay.
So, like that.
So it's a possibility for everyone, but it's not. It's not.
But it's not.
As in, like, not everyone will obviously do it. It requires them to actually go full out and.
Which everybody will never go full out.
Exactly. Okay. That's
So meaning, so the short answer is kind of like, no.
But that's with everything in life, though, right?
Yeah,
With
it's all
making
the
money,
same.
with losing weight, with
All
getting
the
fit, or learning anything. If you go full out and you do everything it takes to get the outcome,
Yeah.
then it's the same thing. Like spirituality it's all one and the same.
So silence the mind.
Yeah.
Then your mind has nothing in it. So now you will hear, just like if we were to breathe now, and out. Now listen. We'll hear some sounds we didn't hear before. Right? We hear now. Upstairs chatting, right? Dan moving on the chair. We hear. We couldn't hear before. We silence that as well. We keep silencing all of it, and we keep continuing that breath. Then what will happen is you will hear other signals now. Right? Those signals is that connection with the divine. So that's why I say, people say breathing practice in the morning, yoga practice in the morning, meditation practice in the morning. I say no. I say every moment. You'll see wherever I go, whatever I do, always breathing. Right? Dan was saying this in India. He was saying, how do you breathe like that? And why do you? Right? But that's pushing out all the sound, and then I'm in tune. Whenever you're in tune, you will never get lost.
Yeah.
Because it will guide you.
Yeah.
You'll have all the answers.
We see you like constant in the office, anything before meetings, after meetings, when we're going out to eat or anything, it's always just
Because everybody's just in the non-stop chat, and they're stuck there. And trying to hit certain goals in life is very, very hard. When in fact, actually, if people practice, and maybe this should be a practice for everybody, how about for the week, right? How about we keep this shut as much as we can and see what happens. Right? That's why people do Vipassanas. You ever been on a Vipassana retreat before?
No.
Silence retreat.
The silence. Oh, right. Yeah.
Everybody should try, because it's a very powerful. That's why people go on Vipassana retreats, and then suddenly they feel like I feel like I'm connected to something. Right? It's because once you silence the mind, no thinking, no talking, stop just talking and listen, then you'll hear the communication coming through.
So I'm just going to bring up a question very similar to this.
Someone from the CC Plus?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm just trying to bring it up because we're all having a chat here. So,
And by the way, just another thing as well. Those of you who aren't part of the CC Plus already, you can click the link below and then join the CC Plus, because we answer all the questions there. There's a questions chat, so we'll be answering it on this show every week. Yeah, and it's
We're
very
having
very
a
powerful
little
community.
funny chat on here as well. So, Gerald is asking, how do we quiet the mind during meditation? Because every single time I try to quiet the mind, something else comes up, and I find it really hard to keep it quiet for a long time.
Focus on breath. Start with focus on breath. Let's not overcomplicate it right now. It will come in. The things will come in. Notice, but it needs to be a daily practice. Right? Notice what comes in on day one. Focus on breath. Focus on third eye point. And then your mind will drift after a few seconds. It'll drift, bring it back again. Every day with that practice, naturally, it'll silence more. Okay? Also, another thing as well is that sometimes environments don't help. What is the practice before meditation? Right? Are you watching a movie, then saying, hey, I'm going to meditate? Are you swiping Facebook, then saying, I want to meditate? What is your practice afterwards? These things, morning routines, evening routines, is very important to keep the mind silenced. That's why I said, instead of saying for meditation, how about we practice silencing the mind forever in every moment? Then we would have no trouble. For example, I can say, if I have a question now, I can ask the divine, because my mind now can be in, it can be there. And I think that's powerful. Yeah. I think another
much
thing
going on in my head right now. I'm just like, whoa, wow.
I think another thing as well is this also goes back to when I do the spiritual riffs on Sundays. What is spiritual riff? Spiritual riff is like a surge of energy that comes through, and it just gets put out without the mind. Imagine if you didn't think, right? Just like was the beginning of this show when we talked about sex. Yeah. Without thought, what comes out? Without thought, meaning it's not you, it will have to be something else. Right? I don't know if yours was thought. I think yours was thought because you were being safe with it. But then,
feet was safe with it. I don't think so.
feet was channeled energy that one.
I don't like feet, guys. I don't have. I'm not weird.
We already have all the visuals now. So, but when you can silence the mind, then no thought is going on. Everything can be channeled through. And that is the universe speaking,
Interesting. So what we'd say to people who are struggling with that is, firstly, practice. It takes a while to get to the state where you're quiet for a long time. Or at least I found that for me, quieting the voices and focusing on just the silence for a long period of time. So that's practice. And then also the content that you take in before and after you meditate. So I think maybe like a morning routine and a night routine. When you first wake up in the morning, I think we also discussed this before, but they just say that when you wake up, your brain, the state of your brain is in I don't know what the science word for it, but I can say the spiritual word would be receiving mode. So it's easier and quieter, just your environment, but also the inside and the outside.
Some people call it a theta brainwave. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. Science word, spiritual word. But then what about at night?
Night, the caution before bed is what you're going to carry into dream. That's the caution. Yeah, by watching, listening, unnecessary things, then your mind is going subconsciously through the night. Then manifestation is also going through the night. That's the caution part. Morning caution is correct in saying your brain is like a sponge, just absorbs because it's been through silence, right? Before bed, is what you're going to carry to sleep. So these are the two cautions.
So in a world where we use social media and we use and all we have heavily influencing environments where we're constantly taking in information. So I know how our creators are, because they're very specific, and they'll say, how many minutes, how many seconds, how many hours do I stop watching before this, or do I stop doing this? What would you say? Like, how many hours?
I think for now, stick to 1 hour before bed, 1 hour when you wake up, no touching of the social. Then people, and then being more specific, then people say, oh, well, I always watch your sleep meditation. What about sleep meditation? This, like, that is different. If you're going through a meditation track, it's different, right? If you listen to any, it doesn't have to be my meditation track, but if you listen to any meditation track, it's okay, because that is what you're going for during that period. But the worst thing is the swipe, right? Or something that's very visual that you are not wanting to carry into
We're not
sleep.
in control of what's coming at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like things you're not wanting to, like movies and things like that as well. And some things happen, things jump out and things, and then you take it into sleep. That's manifestation also, you know? Yeah. But if, like meditation, you know what you're going through, you know why you selected it, and you want to carry that. So carry it, you know?
Yeah.
Affirmations, they're fine, yeah.
What about other things that could help that? Like maybe going out into nature, because they say that nature has specific frequencies. Does that help as well?
Well, full moon before bed. Moon energy, peace. Left nostril breathing. Calm energies through all left channels. So those help as well. Yeah, nature helps. Morning, going out to nature. Recycling that energy, you know. That helps as well, yeah. Meditating in nature, that helps as well. Very powerful energies.
Yeah.
As long as there's no mosquitoes.
Or moths.
Yeah.
Remember? And the firewalk and Master the Stage.
Oh yeah.
He had little moths or butterflies or bees.
Yeah,
there was
crazy.
some weird breed of some flying thing that would not leave him alone, and only you, no one else. And they followed him everywhere. It's your energy. Okay, so I'm gonna stick to the questions about meditation. There's one more, or similar, about mindset. Sephora, great name by the way. That's my favorite makeup shop.
What's the name?
Sephora.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sephora.
How to stay in
I
the
heard Sephora
positive.
products are cheaper in the US.
They are much cheaper. If anyone's from the US and wants to send me some Sephora products, their lipsticks are very nice. So I'll send you my address. How to stay in the positive state of mind. I am aware this is a daily practice, but any additional tips to remain in positivity and align with desired manifestations?
Yep. Affirmations. Yep. So practice of affirmations is very important, because that's our own vibrations.
So there's affirmations, and then there's a lot of people talking about incantations recently.
Yeah.
So is there not a difference?
They're all
or?
just words. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all the same thing. The idea is to say something with meaning, feel it, so it absorbs. You become the vibration. That's your attraction. You know.
Yeah.
So affirmations work very well. Second thing is environment. Whether we like it or not, it will affect. So we're in a negative environment. Some people say, "Oh, I'm stuck in this negative environment." Well, nobody's really that stuck. But it's my family, and again, nobody's really that stuck. We need to learn how to deal with it, or we need to spend time away from it, you know, because we get affected. Third thing is, let's say, for example, if it's negative thoughts that is happening inside your brain, then we need to do reprogramming of the mind. So you can do something like timeline therapy, cognitive reframing by taking something that's a problem, a negative situation, and how do we reframe it, replace that emotion with a positive emotion. So processes like that work. Hypnosis processes work for that as well. So if it's negative thoughts from the past, that's what needs to be done. Yeah. Or healing. If you find a master, healing energies, those work as well. I think those are the general things. Yeah.
Well, going back into the second thing you said about being like your environment being negative, I think that's a question that I actually asked you from my first SPL ever.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
And I've seen that question come up over and over and over for the past since I know you, since I've been watching your videos, and even since I joined the team. It's a question that a lot of people ask. What would you say based around people who live with extremely negative people? So say if they're young and their parents and family are like that, or their spouses are like that. And obviously, when a lot of people are spiritual, sometimes their family isn't, or they don't understand. And it's not always easy for them to just leave completely. What would you say? What advice would you give people like that?
Okay. First thing is to learn to deal with it. Because obviously, if it's close members of family and things like that, then it's learn to how to deal with it, how to communicate with, there's an art to communicating to negative people. And one of the things is don't be positive. Really?
I learned that the hard way.
Like, we know what happens, Why are you positive all the time? Can you imagine people say things like that? Why are you positive all the time? It's so
we
bizarre.
had someone say to Master Lim on on one of his lives, they actually said to him, "You smile so much all the time. It's really annoying." What?
Yeah. But that will always come from somebody who doesn't smile all the time. Negative people, because negative people, they like to have other negative people around them. You'll always see complainers like to hang around with complainers because they can complain together. They're in the same vibration. So, with positive, that type of outlook to life, when you're in that surrounding, then you have to be able to don't disrupt their pattern, but create your own shield. So what does that mean? It means while you're being negative, right, I'm not absorbing it. Number one, a very important thing is eyes. Do not look in the eyes, because eyes is the biggest transfer of energy. So we absorb quicker through eyes. So you can look at face by not looking at eyes. It already looks like you're looking at them, but you're not absorbing in the way. The moment you look in eyes, you start absorbing and you feel it, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is when we create that shield is when they are speaking, obviously not very blatant, but when the other person's speaking, we can just breathe out quietly. Every time we breathe out, we're expanding our energy body and we're creating the shield. Right? Just allow them to talk, but it's not coming in because the sound is coming in. We're pushing it back, right? So that's the visualization while it's happening, but don't go change them.
Yeah.
That's disruptive, So that's that part. Because people who don't want to be changed won't be changed, When the student is ready, the master appears. So that's that. So that's always primary because they are your close family members. If it's possible, right, then your secondary option is that leave the environment. Find a way to not be in that environment all the time, Yeah. I'm not saying it's a recommendation for everyone to run away from home. But it's something I did. Yeah, I left home at 15. My mum was very upset, crying, calling me. Dad was really angry. And I left the city. I went to another city myself, in the middle of the night, literally running away. Because I felt I wanted things my way. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But what sometimes I think we need to understand is what do family want first? When they have arguments first, a lot of the time they want the best first. It's just they don't understand our world.
Yeah.
They do want well first, most of the time. And it's love. It's coming from a place of love, except it's coming from their understanding of love. So if we understand in that sense, how can we give them that assurance, which actually was the thing that fueled me in my early years of business and going out there, why I went into the hustle and grind, is because I knew I needed to make sure my parents knew I was safe and make them proud. And guess what? Today, they're the proudest parents in the world. So this actually goes back to that saying where they say love starts from self-love. You can't love other people if you are not in the right frequency and not in the right capacity. If you work on yourself and make it your focus, your purpose, and you become the best version of yourself, the most powerful, the most positive version of yourself, right? Everyone around you will start absorbing that. Yeah. Because your environment will shift according to who you are, where you are at that point. So that is
Yeah. That
another
reminds me of
option.
two things.
Mm.
Firstly, the whole thing where you talk about how if you want to make an impact and change in the world, you have to change yourself first.
Yep.
And that's not always going to be 100% easy.
Yep.
And secondly, it just, there's a joke that I remembered that when people think they're really spiritual, go and spend like a holiday with your family and see how spiritual you actually are. Because, I mean, not when you're staying with them, but when you go back and when there's fights and all that kind of stuff, and you think that you're a spiritual person, that again would be is like a test for you and your patience and how spiritual you actually are.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. That's a nice one. Go on holiday with your family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's all for today. Do you
Mhm.
want to go off? Do you want one more question or?
I think we'll do one more question next time.
Okay. I think we need to go now. So thank you so much for tuning in today. That was a very, very interesting session. And for next sessions, there's no hooks for this time because we're going to ask your questions. We're going to bring them on. If you have any questions, make sure you ask us them in the CC Plus chat, the class chat. And if you
The
like
questions chat.
the question, that's what I said, questions chat. Make sure you ask them in the questions chat. If you liked this show, make sure you click the thumbs up. And if you have any questions at all, make sure you ask them in our questions chat in our Discord for our CC Plus channel. And if you would like to see more, make sure you subscribe and comment below and let us know where you're from. That's all for today. So salam and namaste.
Namaste.